hit the shutter button on the GH5S? Second time. You didn't hit the shutter button.
Okay. Oh,
the one you take a picture with, yeah. I have it programmed to do record that way. Okay. It's much easier.
Okay. Ow.
Okay.
So
my mom lived in Wisconsin. My dad flew over on a student visa to do college at Wisconsin.
Okay.
And they met, fell in love, had a love child, which was me. His student visa ran out. He went back to Jordan. Mm-hmm. So she was raising me. And
did he know that he had a baby?
Huh?
Did he know that she was pregnant?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he knows about me. So she's raising me. And then she met the stepdad that I have now, the one you met.
Yeah.
She met him. And so they got together. They were married. And then when I was 5, she died. And so it was just him. So he was my stepdad. And then when I was 10 or 11, he met and married the mom I have now. So okay. It's like, it's a weird way to have 2 step-parents, but I have 2 step-parents.
Wait. So your dad married your mom? Your stepdad married your mom?
Yeah. My real mom.
Your mom passed away.
Mm-hmm. And then new mom came around like 6 years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they believe in God?
We went to church as a kid. I mean, I don't know if they were really into it or just putting on a show for us. I don't know. I've never really had that talk with them, so I don't know.
Yeah, but you went to church whenever.
Oh yeah, I grew up Catholic. Went to Catholic private schools.
Oh.
Bible
I didn't mean
studies.
that like but like.
Catholic
it's a whole lot different. Well, it's a whole lot different in like when I think of like Catholic school, I think of my buddy who's from Ireland, and Catholic school in Ireland is a whole lot different than Catholic school.
Well, it's probably like America. Catholic school back in the day, like very slap on the wrist with the rulers and corporal punishment they would call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did away with that in like what 90 something. Corporal punishment was abolished.
I think so.
So the parents are like, when I was a kid, the nun used to smack me across the wrist with a ruler
knuckles.
for talking. Yeah.
Hit him on the knuckles.
The knuckles. Yeah. That was the big thing. I don't know if that ever happened.
Did they ever hit you on the knuckles?
The nuns?
Yeah.
There were no nuns at the Catholic school. It was just regular teachers. But it was a private Catholic school. Okay. I went there in 5th and 6th grade.
Just 5th and 6th? Mm-hmm. And then after that?
Went to public schools after that, yeah.
Okay. Huh. So that's Topeka then?
Yeah, that was in Topeka.
Okay.
Do you want to clap to sync your audio now?
Yeah. It was really... We only needed one. But it's fine.
But we went the extra mile.
Yeah. So what did you think whenever you were like... I don't know, going to church like every
Catholic
morning.
church?
Yeah, like do you still remember it?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Because I film weddings now, so like when I go, I do a lot in Catholic churches. I know every single response, when to kneel, when to sit, when to stand. I know how to respond to that. I know exactly what the priest because it gets ingrained to your head after.
Do you know the 5 like it goes like Gloria to I can't think of the names of each one.
5 what?
Oh, there's like 5 parts of the mass. It's like there's like
like the sermon and the I mean there's technically 5 parts I guess, but
5 or 6 or something. I don't know.
It's basically you get there, you sit down, read a verse or read a verse from the Bible, stand up, hallelujah, amen, and then blah blah blah. You go back to it, read another verse. So there's 2 cantors, I think they call them cantors.
Well, so my dad was Catholic. My dad.
Did you go to Catholic church?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So you know.
So like
it's a very formal. It's almost eerily like beautiful in a weird way when everybody's singing like in that. If you ever gone to a Latin mass,
it's corporate worship. It's like where else are you going to like get all these people singing together other than maybe like.
There's a YouTube channel. Have you seen that where all the people sing like covers of songs in a football stadium full of people? Mm-mm. Oh, dude, you have to see.
Or like the big old like they fill a whole stadium full of drummers and they all play like
same exact concept. Yeah, they'll sing like Nirvana or something like that, a really cool song, and like all of them in sync singing in this big stadium filled with people. It's really cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So,
but this happens every single Sunday, something like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, I don't know how often they do it. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Probably take a little while to get everybody on the same page with the song.
Yeah. So anyway, have you ever gone to church by yourself?
By myself? Yes, I have. Of my own volition, yes. Yeah. Yes, I have. When I was a kid, no, I did not. No, I did not want to go to Catholic church. It was the most boring thing ever. I hated it. And there was the days when mom and dad would they'd be like wake up late and they didn't want to go to church. I'm like, yes. So I could just like sleep in and not do anything on Sunday. It was great. Okay. There's always Sunday mass.
Was it your dad or was it your mom that?
Both equal. I mean, they were just. Well, my mom was Presbyterian, but she went to Catholic church with us all the time.
So your dad was Catholic.
Yeah, I think he was just raised that way. And I don't. Stepdad, yeah. Okay. We can call him mom and dad. Don't matter.
Yeah.
Don't have to. But yeah.
Preface it with any kind.
Yeah.
Do you look at him as your dad?
Yeah, he raised me. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never met my actual dad.
Oh. Okay.
I've talked to him like online, and I think I've called him on the phone one time ever.
Really?
Yeah. He works for the king in Jordan. He's the minister of water and irrigation. So like we have here in the government, we have like the department, the treasury, we have the secretary of justice. He's like one of those, but he controls the water in the land of Jordan. It's a weird setup how they do everything there.
So
he's somewhat of a big shot. Somewhat.
You got some good blood. Like you're doing YouTube and like
I have the best blood.
What I mean, like
you want to see? Let's do it.
No, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that.
But yeah, although I think we might be close enough to where we could do a blood pact. Maybe not today. Maybe not on camera, but some other time.
I probably would not do that.
Okay, that's fine.
It's a great way to get bloodborne pathogens, man.
Fair enough.
We have to make sure we keep a whole watch on this timer.
Yeah. Because we're videotaping on DSLRs and not
just camcorders. So for notice, you might see a weird jump, guys. And if you see a weird jump, that's because the cameras ran out at 30 minutes on the video limit. And we have to go jump and reset them. And that's why.
So.
But you ever do stagger step them? You ever stagger step them? It gets complicated that way. Where you shut one off, you restart one. And that way there's always a running shot.
Yeah. If
you have somebody in the background to just restart them every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Apart from each other. So there's always while that one's being reset, you're at this pan or you're in this frame while that one's being reset. So nobody ever see it reset. And in editing, it's just kind of a together. Cluster fudge. Sorry, I cursed already. This is my first time. It was
time. Like into like 25 minutes.
We went a whole 15 minutes without me cussing.
I'm okay. That's fine.
I can edit one.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Don't let it happen again. But we don't have anybody to do that.
Yeah.
You've been on your own for a while. You run your YouTube channel like on your own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's nobody that like have you always been like independent, or has like when you moved into this location, like did you I don't know where I'm going with this.
You talking about like you just want to get like a sense of like my how I interact with people and how I deal with daily life type of thing?
Just like, have you ever felt lonely?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I lived in this place by myself for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's times where you get like lonely, of course, but that's overshadowed by how happy I am when I could walk around my house naked. I can sing at the top of my lungs and whatever I want to do. I can watch videos really loud, watch movies loud. I don't have to worry about waking up a roommate or anything. I can do whatever I want. It's like my domain. So that overshadows the somewhat seldom loneliness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do whenever you get lonely? Do you call people?
No.
You don't call people?
No.
I call people sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
You get lonely?
Like the other day, like 2-3 weeks ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm going to call Scuba.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't answer. We talked
for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, we did. And like, I love like that.
Yeah.
I think that like we got kind of deep with that. Well,
there's definitely a lonely factor that comes with being by yourself for sure.
I remember saying to you, I think that like the reason why I think that we're friends is because we're not scared of each. Well, I said it directed to you, but I think that like it's just as much you as me, but like we're not scared of each other.
Scared of each other?
We're not fearful of each other. Like
in a physical sense or something?
No, I mean like.
So you better be scared. We have tattoos.
Like I'm not scared. You're gonna just like
disappear from your life or something.
Sure.
So I'm like I'm like an anchor.
Yeah.
I'm always there when you need me, type of thing. Like
not necessarily. Sometimes I call you and you don't answer, and then I'm like, whatever.
But if you come to town and you need a place to stay, you stay at my place. Yeah. That's how it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a stable thing.
Yeah. But it's not just like it's for me, but it's also you are like that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You're influential, sure, on like YouTube, but I don't think really you have a massive audience, but I don't think that any of them like really know how much of an anchor you are in the community. outside of YouTube.
That makes it a little grandiose sounding. I'm not like some pillar of the community that's
sure, yeah. Like
I get a kick. I think a lot of people do get a kick out of being nice to people and helping people out.
Yeah.
Because I make a lot of money. I give a lot of money to people all the time, just like people that need it. I gave a guy $40 just when we were at the mechanics. Just gave him extra $40. I know it's Christmas and he's a mechanic. He's probably not doing too well. He needs some money. I know him personally.
Yeah.
Here's $40 for tip for doing my stuff.
But it's not just money. Like you.
Not money. No. Yeah. When people need things. Yeah.
You listen to people and you actually.
Yeah, I'm a good listener. How much of it will last in my memory a year from now? No idea.
Yeah. But
at the time when you got a problem, and I'll listen to you. Yeah, for sure. But that's I think every human does. There's nothing special about that.
Where do you get that from? Where did that get instilled in you? That's capability of listening.
Oh, well, when I was a child, my ears started working just randomly, and then it hasn't stopped. It's really crazy.
That's because like right now,
I can hear you right now.
Fair enough.
So I think what your leading question is my morality.
I don't have any angle on this question. You have an angle. No, I don't. Like sure. Like where? Yeah. Who do you give credit to? Yeah, sure.
Myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that selfish? Don't you think that's selfish?
By definition, yeah.
Yeah.
Your phone is also.
I forgot we were time lapsing.
Yeah, we've been time lapsing the whole time. But whatever.
That's kind of cool though. I might take that as a shot too.
It's on low battery. Is it still filming? Oh, it is. Yeah, it's just not showing you the screen.
Huh. Cool.
But yeah, so by definition, what's the definition of selfish is kind of favoring oneself over others or something like that, right?
I mean, like so. You
mean self-worshipping or self
like you don't worship yourself.
Megalomaniacal.
Unless maybe like, I whenever I'm around you, I don't get like this like super
sense that I'm better than you or anything.
No.
Well, because I'm not.
Yeah.
We're human beings.
Sure.
There's no race, color, religion, anything that is just miles any human that's above any other just by default.
Okay.
Nothing.
So you
can do shitty things.
There are still things.
Sorry, bad, crappy things. You can do crappy things.
Strike 2.
Yeah, strike 3, and you're out of here.
So there are still some things, morals that you align with. That so you don't believe that you got that from the church that you went to and listened to the preacher and pastor or whatever it is.
Absolutely not.
None of it.
No.
Do you give any credit to going to church?
Literally zero. Maybe some of the latter years with the Christian church.
Yeah.
But the Catholic Church, absolutely not. That all just flew right over my head, and I'm sitting there just like chanting stuff and standing up, sitting down. There's no depth you're gonna get. No depth of like any type of just real deep meaning from a Catholic church. You're not going there for that.
Yeah.
Or if you get that from a Catholic church, that's beyond me. I don't know how you get any type of inner fulfillment from that.
Yeah.
It's literally it's a scheduled thing. You're up, down. It's all choreographed.
Structured.
Yeah, there's no freedom in it, I guess. Very structured, yes.
Yeah. Have you been to like a more progressive church?
Yeah. When I was young, when I was like 15 or 14 or 15 maybe.
Were you ever like in a youth group or anything?
No, not in the sense of like, let's get in a group and we all go to missionary down to Mexico and help out. Nothing like that, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I had Christian friends when I was a kid, but nothing like a organized youth group.
Yeah. Did any of them influence you in any way?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to answer that. I don't know, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a subconscious. I think
you've read the Bible, haven't you? I remember you telling me.
I haven't. I'm not going to be that guy. It's like, I read the whole. I haven't read the whole Bible. I've read a vast majority of it.
Yeah.
I started with Revelation, and even when I was young, I didn't read the Bible. I mean, you read the verses but I don't pay attention to any of it. Yeah. But Revelation was like,
it stood out to you.
That was interesting to read, just because it's Revelation. It's probably the most interesting book in the Bible, by far. As far as like an impressionable young kid wants something exciting,
something that's super,
and not the boring jury. Yield, he lay with her and begat a child.
As a child, but then you get older and then you're like, you read Matthew and it's like,
even that didn't do it for me, honestly.
Even the part where he took the demons and put them into the pigs and they ran off the cliff.
Yeah, but that's just, it's so antiquated in the way they word it.
Mm-hmm.
Revelations was somewhat modernly written, not modernly in the sense of like what we have now, but a little bit less antiquated than I thought than the rest of the Bible.
Yeah.
So, and it's all flames and fury and sulfur and fire and demons and angels and trumpets, and it's very visual. Like, you can like, oh crap,
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about. The end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that could happen? Or do you
could
think,
happen?
Yeah.
Of course it could happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean like Revelation coming true?
Sure.
Yeah, of course it could happen.
Yeah. So.
But we'll preface that with saying anything could happen.
Sure.
They could a Jumanji hole could come out of that wall and we could go to a jungle right now.
2 bees could fly out of my ear right now, fly around, and then come to the other one and speak German to me, and one of them speaking German, and then the other one translates it.
Exactly. We're on the same page.
That was what my pastor said today, or yesterday.
Literally?
Yeah. Yeah. I loved it though. Like, that's like, I'm trying to remember the context. It was about Isaiah, and I guess the book of Isaiah is almost like like Genesis to Revelation, but it's like Isaiah, and like in the middle of like Isaiah 46, like he prophesies like Jesus, and like at the end of Isaiah, it's similar to. I ain't trying to preach here, but
I know some of the stuff. I don't know everything about it, but I know the general gist of the books. Yeah,
dude, deja vu.
You having it right now?
Yeah.
What happens next? You can never answer because you don't know. How do you explain deja vu? That's a mind twister.
Do you believe that deja vu is actually prophetic?
Like a supernatural thing?
Sure. Do you believe in prophecy?
No. Absolutely not.
Okay.
I think deja vu, and I've had this explained to where it somewhat made sense to me, where it's deja vu is literally like, it's supposedly like something you've dreamed of or something or thought of before. But
combined with everything else, and
yeah, but you have it very rarely. It's like maybe once a year, you'll have some deja vu moment that's pretty vivid or something like that.
But yeah, like just now, like how you said, like I've read Isaiah, like I've read,
yeah, and that's just something that could have been a random dream subconsciously that you experience,
with a tree in the middle of the table.
Yeah,
but
it could also be just an illusion of like, I think I've had this before, but it's not even a thing.
Anyway, so you getting back to like my testimony.
Your agenda.
Yeah. What was the biggest struggle in your life?
The biggest struggle?
Yeah.
I don't... I think the mom dying thing sucked. I mean, that was
How old were you?
I was 5.
Okay.
So, I mean...
Do you remember it?
I remember her. So, what I remember was... I have very few memories of her, actually. I have like 3 or 4. She was a musician. She was a musical therapist at a hospital. She was actually killed by a patient at the hospital. There's actually like ghost stories of her and stuff like that. It's really weird. The state hospital in Topeka. I don't know if you know what that is, but there was a big state hospital in Topeka, mental hospital, and it got shut down shortly after. Not shortly, it was a few years after, but I remember sitting on her lap playing piano with her, like her singing to me while I was playing piano. I remember her slapping me one day for like, I think I like threw cereal or something. I remember her like just like slapping me on the hand or something. Like, I don't remember what it was, and I remember being shocked. I think that's how I remember that.
A little bit traumatized.
Well, she was always so nice.
Yeah.
And then that was like, oh.
But she knew how to discipline.
I mean, yeah. From what that one moment, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the night it happened, I remember she would always come home from work, and I would be at the door waiting for her. Dad was always like the strict, like, and then mom was the loving, oh, come here, you want a cookie, and, stuff like that. So I was waiting at the door, the screen door, and I vividly remember sitting at the screen door. It was a white screen door. I remember the street address and everything. I won't give the street address out, but I'm sitting there, and it's like 5:20 or something. Mom's supposed to be home at 5, and I'm sitting there, and Dad's like, close the door. I was like, why? And he's like, well, Mom's not coming home. And I was like, I didn't understand, of course. And then I think he tried to communicate, like had a talk with me, like, hey, Mom died. And you see it in movies, I guess, but it's not like you don't really comprehend at 5, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe caused like some psychological damage, I'm sure, at some point in my life. Maybe that would be the biggest struggle.
Yeah.
That. I went to therapy a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know if they attributed it to that or not. I don't know.
Did the therapist tell you you're fine?
No, I mean, I got diagnosed with like ADD and ADD. Of course, every kid gets that.
Every kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you take any kind of medication now?
I did back when I was a kid. They prescribed me Adderall and stuff. But I would just I wouldn't take it. I hated it.
Yeah.
I sold it to other kids at school.
Yeah.
Yeah, for vending machine money. $5 for a pill. Heck yeah. That's 3 sodas and 2 Snickers.
I feel like I should get you 2 sodas and 3 Snickers because you didn't cuss right there.
Right. Yeah, I held back. But yeah, that's probably like the biggest struggle. I mean,
does it still pop up in your head? Like, is it something that is?
I'm gonna talk like right now. We're talking about it. Yeah. It's not like uber painful or anything to talk about. Yeah. It's just it's part of life. It's death. I get it. It sucks, you know. It's always like a what if mom was still alive and where would I be today and who knows. But I enjoy where I'm at today. So I try not to second guess stuff and question things. What if. I try not to do that.
Yeah. Were you angry at? I guess you were 5 years old.
Yeah, it's hard to be.
I mean, like, growing, but whenever you were 12, 13, 14, like...
I don't think.
Were you, like...
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to self-analyze when you're 11 or 12.
Sure.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, if I had a camera on me at all times and I could sit here and review the footage of my life, I could maybe see something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember any outbursts or anything crazy.
Yeah.
I remember I ran away from home a bunch of times. Not a bunch, like 3 times. My dad was always super strict. He used to beat the crap out of me. And it's one of the things, like, back then, like, I was like, I'm running away. But now I'm like, I kind of appreciate the tough love.
Dude, I did that too. I would...
Yeah. But now...
Sack up and I would just walk out.
But do you appreciate it now at all? The tough love?
Well, I remember this one time where I sacked up. I put I got a backpack and I walked out the door. I was probably like 13 or 14. I stepped out the front. Like, I was so angry at my dad. And I walked out the front door and I just started walking.
Did he try to stop you?
I had no idea where I was going to go. Well, what he did was
Did he call your bluff?
No, Sometimes he would. But this time, like, it's crazy how he knew. Because I would do that, like, not often, but, like... Yeah, like, he would call my bluff sometimes.
It's the ultimate defiance. Okay, I'm leaving.
Yeah, but, like, this one time, I remember very clearly where I was, like, I was so devastated, and I walked out that door, and I was like, I'm never going back to that place again. Mm-hmm. I'm never going back home. And I remember him getting in his car and driving down the street, and I just kept walking, hands on the backpack, and he's in his car, window rolled down, talking to me. And, like, trying to, like...
As you're walking and him driving stuff?
Yeah, as I'm walking. Which is, like, such, like, a... I don't know. Like, just out of a movie.
Yeah.
Or whereas, maybe even a movie...
What were you saying? Do you remember what you were saying to each other? Was it you still being like, screw you, Dad. I'm tired of, stuff like that? Or was it just, like, having an understanding moment?
No, it was me. Just, I ignored him. Or I tried to ignore him. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't because he was, like, my father.
Right.
Like... She was talking to me, and I just was, and so I tried my hardest to ignore, and you cannot ignore your father.
Right.
So, yeah, at one finally, and I mean, I walked, like, I held a strong, like, I'm leaving. I told you I was leaving, and I'm out of here. And I walked like a good quarter mile before I was like, okay,
melted
so
like butter.
I kind of just like got in the car, just like sat down, and I felt like
it's a defeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like what I felt like was I let myself down. I was like,
you're a dog.
You made a statement.
Yeah.
And you didn't stick to it.
You're a dog jumping around that's been told to sit. You're like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Want to reset cameras?
About there.
Yep. It's at 32, but we started later. But just to be safe, I'd reset them.
Okay.
And we can get an accurate read. How much time was left? Like 10, 15 minutes?
7 minutes.
Yeah. Just reset them, yeah.
Reset this one. Is this one? Yeah.
Wait, is it recording?
Yep.
Okay.
And so the reason why I don't know, this my testimony thing is like, it seems like it I mean, I've only done 2 of these, right? But it like
this being your second?
Yeah, this being the second one. Your story is actually not too far off from Jordan's, who I spoke to this morning, which is just like.
Well, it makes you got to understand that most people experience the same things in life. When everybody's like, oh, I've had a hard life. I've never been that person. You don't know how rough I've had it. Yeah. Because so many people have it worse, and so many people have it like the exact same. Like, stuff happens to people. Yeah. It happens. Yeah,
I'm going to give you another 3 sodas and 2 candy bars.
So, it's to me, it's like it's a very ugly trait to like put yourself on the pedestal of, oh, I've been through so much pain. You don't have people have an idea. It's like you shouldn't be shocked when like people have similar stories.
I'm not.
Me and you have similar stories with the running away.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
but
there's
like
tons of people that have the same things happen to them day in, day out. There's no grand scale of craziness. We're all pretty similar. In life experiences.
Well, I feel like the one thing that kind of like ties us all together is like our like. Well, we're raised by somebody. You know, there's somebody.
It ties like humanity together.
Well, just there's somebody that you know, as a child, you know, unless you're a freaking Spartan and they throw them out into the.
Or you get raised by wolves.
Yeah, raised by wolves, right? And like they just throw them out there, and then like they either survive or die. But like everybody's got like somebody who's holding your hand, you know.
Yeah, well, that's just kind of the you have a child and you raise it.
Yeah.
Or somebody raises it.
Yeah. Well, like
imagine all the kids out there fending for themselves, little 3-year-olds out trying to find food or something. You know, it'd be. Yeah.
Yeah. But. Who? I don't know. Tell me more about you.
What do you want to know?
So you
my character, my life, my experiences, what I do now.
Your life. Testimony referring to your life.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like again. I try not to glorify my life in any whether it's good or bad. I mean, there's good things in my life. There's bad things in my life. My life right now is mostly like 90%, 95% positive.
Okay.
Nothing really crazy bad or good either way. I mean, crazy good. I mean. I live a very comfortable life because of what I do, but it's not so far-fetched that it's, like, noteworthy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that do YouTube and stuff. So there's nothing that's going to be super exciting for whoever's watching. Oh, man, he films himself on YouTube.
Well, that's pretty interesting. I mean, like...
Somewhat. There's a lot of people who do that.
Well, there isn't. There's not a lot of people. There's not a lot of people like you.
There's really a lot of people like me.
No, they're really. I mean, you're pulling in this generation.
I'm pulling in what?
You're pulling in just this generation. When you look at all.
You're talking about me specifically, or a human being specifically?
No, I'm saying whenever you say like you aren't very different, and I say you are different.
Right.
But
that's just self-importance.
What do you mean?
You don't think that's selfish?
Are you talking about like status quo at this point?
No, I'm talking about thinking that any one person is so special and unique, and when in reality we're all just human beings with human nature. Yeah. We all do the same thing, think the same thoughts, and we're all pretty much the same. There's a few outliers. Okay. Adolf Hitler. Mother Teresa wasn't that great.
Gandhi.
Maybe even he was kind of a butthole. Trying to think of like an actually really good person. Maybe Bill Gates. Maybe he isn't doing like he's altruistic in the sense that he donates a lot of money, but I don't know. I don't know for a fact. When I hear stories of like Mother Teresa, you hear like, oh, she was such a great person, but she was just raking in dough and treating people like horrible, like really bad in her. There's a whole documentary that somebody went into her because she had the not orphanages but like hostel type things for people that were sick. Yeah. And it was like worse than living on the street. And then she was the main proponent of the Catholic the no condom thing. Don't wear condoms. AIDS spread like wildfire in Africa because there's missionaries out there saying that wearing a condom is a sin, and she was spearheading that whole thing. The whole Catholic that's another disgusting Catholic thing. So there's, people catching AIDS left and right because they don't want to use a condom because they think it's a sin against God to use a condom. When in reality, just use a condom. You're probably not going to catch AIDS that way.
All right, not Mother Teresa's testimony, Scuba's testimony.
Yeah, I was just giving you an example of, we went off on a tangent there for sure.
We always go off on tangents. We always talk kind of like this.
Freely.
Yeah.
It always ends up at the same thing. But
it does.
But we take different paths there.
Yeah. We're like, I
can't believe you didn't know I was half Arab.
No.
I swear I've told you that.
Never told me.
I can't believe you don't remember everything I say to you, dude.
Sorry,
I would never do that.
I don't know.
I would remember every interaction we've ever had. Except for a lot of them. We were just talking about how the first time I met you, I didn't remember it. Yeah. So now I have to give you. I can't believe you didn't know I was.
I didn't care whether or not you remembered me or the first time or not, but
that's good. Don't take it personal because.
Well, honestly, I think more highly of you. You know, because like.
Why?
You caught me.
Yeah. I'm a person that questions stuff. You know that.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. But
so if you say something like why?
A lot of times like people they remember me. And so you not remembering me, I was, you know, it like.
But you were young.
It hurts my pride a little bit, and it's stupid, but.
But we met again, and I remember you now.
Yeah.
You're like you're probably top 5 friends I have. There you go.
Yeah. I could say.
I literally have like Lance is probably my best friend.
Yeah.
I would consider. I try not to have like the whole best friend thing. I have a lot of acquaintances and people I know. If I go out in public, there's gonna be somebody somewhere. Almost everywhere I go that knows me and likes me and says hi. And
do you talk about God about God with any of your other friends more than you talk about it with me?
Religion in general, yeah. You're just because you're that hammer that just we got to figure this out.
Wait, I think
I think it shocks you that there's. I think that it in your head it's like this guy, he's great, but crap, he needs like. What is going on with this guy? So in your head, there's like just one like fundamental flaw in my theory or my life that's like, you got to know God, man. You know, like I think that's in your head. If I don't know. I'm just assuming that's what's going on, right?
No.
So when you think of me, do you think that I would be better off with a belief in a God? Correct, right?
I think that's yes and no. You know.
So you think I'd be better off without believing in God?
No, and yes and no. I think that it'd be better off.
You don't want my soul to be saved?
I believe in a plan, right? So like here it is, right?
Now we get into the meat and potatoes of this.
Sure, yeah. to believe that whether it's
good thing I brought 2 bangs.
For me to like look at you and be like, are you better off as a Christian? Like. I can't answer that question.
Okay, so do you think
because it may be that you not being a Christian, I don't know.
Like directed my life where it is?
I don't know how I would answer that.
So let's say two twins are born.
Sure.
Or a set of twins are born. Of course, it's 2. They're born same exact path up until 18. Mm-hmm. One of them continues to live in a life of Christ. One questions it and branches off, and they have the same routine, everything. One just does not hold the belief for God. Mm-hmm. Who is a better person, if any? If either? Is one a better person for maintaining the belief in God?
There's too many hypotheticals in that.
No, there's literally one.
They're
living the exact same life. They're neighbors. They're neighbors. Sure. They have a wife. They have wives that are twins.
Yeah.
They're identical lives. Routine every morning, wake up at 8:30, go to work, come home at 6:30.
Okay, so better for who?
For them.
For them individually.
Yeah. So is it better for the one that branched off and stopped believing in God, or the one that believes in God?
Okay, so
who has a better?
Define you.
What do you mean define me? I'm asking better for twins.
Better for them.
Not better for me, better for them individually.
Sure, yeah, but I'm
in a subjective sense.
In a subjective sense.
In your opinion, is what I'm saying. In a subjective sense.
In a subjective sense.
How do you feel?
I think that both of them are equal in a subjective sense.
Well, they can't be equal.
Well, if they're
one has a belief and one doesn't.
Okay.
So there's no equal about that. But I'm saying it's just 2 alternatives. Which one would live a better life? The godly man or the non-godly man? They both do the same thing. Donate the same amount of money to charities. They raise kids very well.
Well, why don't you prompt a real question?
Like, that is a real question.
The root of it is like why don't you just like actually say like which one's a better person, you or me?
No, that's a hypothetical. I'm saying exactly identical people. We're not identical. So there's no measure. There's no objective.
Yeah, but the moment that I answer that question is like the moment that I say whether you are better or I'm better.
No.
Like if I say that the Christian person that lives because we live very similar lives.
Yeah.
Like very similar. I mean,
by no means was I trying to equate it to you and me.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to equate it to you and me at all. I'm just saying it's better I'm just trying to get a basis of understanding of it's better in your eyes to have a belief in God or not. Not make you a better person. I'm saying they're better. Their life is better because they believe in God or not. Does God enrich your life?
No, I believe that life begins with God.
That's cryptic. I'm telling like a very literal sense.
Yeah.
Does the one guy have a better life because he believes in God and the other one does not? Or are they equal? Or does one have the non-godly man have a better life than the godly man? Okay. Same everything. This doesn't apply to me and you at all.
Okay.
Preface. So there's no way I can trick you into like.
Well, it's describing us though.
No, it's not. We're not identical by any means.
Sure.
It's like you have two flies. One of them has a third wing. One of them doesn't have a third wing. Which one is better? Or which one will have a better fulfilling life? I don't know.
Which one do you believe is better?
Do I believe is better?
Yeah.
Neither. I think they're still both equal, whether they believe in God or not.
Yeah.
Actions, I think, are what make the better person.
So you believe that actions define an individual. It doesn't start with a thought.
Yeah.
So you have a
physical actions, not thoughts.
You have a more Old Testament view on that then. Mm-mm. Well, that's what
Old Testament how?
The whole Old Testament is about actions, where the whole New Testament
right. I know Jesus was kind of like the thought police. He comes around and don't think unclean thoughts.
Well, yeah,
don't covet your neighbor's wife.
Yeah, Moses said don't sleep with your neighbor's wife, and then
or don't even covet. Don't covet thy neighbor's goods. Don't covet thy neighbor's wife.
Sure. Yeah, and then Jesus
being jealous is a sin.
Jesus came and he said don't even think about it. The moment that you think about sleeping with your neighbor's wife is the moment that you
sure. So sin. Old Testament in that sense, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So
I'm just saying. My reasoning for the question. I'll tell you. My reasoning for the question is asking if you think it's better to believe in God or not, just in general. And you should say yes. That's what you should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's no like trap there. I'm just like throwing it out there for people. So because people probably don't know. You're a Christian, very strong.
But that's the thing is that I don't know that. I don't know what because like
you don't know if the life is better.
Well, no. If you got this here and then I can't move that. These are all people, right? Mm-hmm. You got all these people, right? Guy here, gal here, whatever. And so you're asking me to play God, to say
no. Here's what I'm saying. That's your visual. Here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Twins. This one has fluid, this one doesn't. Is one better than the other? In a literal sense, we can say this is better because there's more of a value to it. This is only worth 5 cents of aluminum can, whatever the refund is. This is worth 5 cents and calories in your body.
So yeah,
in a very literal sense. But in the religious sense,
if we're using, let's use the word value rather than.
Sure, yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Does it have more value?
Yeah, sure. So
then I would say like this. Yeah, this has more value. The godly person has more value to the Creator.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Like.
No, I mean no, objectively more value, not subjectively to the Creator. Objectively across all universal platforms. Objectively, this person has more value than the non-believer.
Sure. Now let me swing it back to you. If you believe that there is a God that is a creator who created us, and you
can I drink?
You go for it. Yeah. No, you're fine. If you worship that, I'm not even
swing it back, man. Come on, swing it right back.
I'll swing it back. Yeah, like
you could ask me the same question. Which one has more value?
Yeah,
and I say
you would
equal.
Say none. They're equal, both. Yeah. Why? Why would?
Well, actions. Because I laid out the schematic. Basically, they're living the exact same lives, doing the exact same thing, doing the exact same good deeds, the bad deeds, everything. Let's say they both masturbate to child porn or something. I don't know, something that's bad, that's objectively bad. Yeah. Well, not it's subjectively bad, but let's say they've both killed a person, same date, same age, they both killed a person.
What makes that subjective though?
So you know what the definition of subjective and objective is?
Sure.
Okay. So subjective being
does
your
culture
opinion.
define subjective?
Well, yeah. Subjective encompasses so much.
So like
objective is
an eye for
that wall is white.
It's
an objective truth.
Yeah. So like the whole an eye for an eye,
that's a subjective truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or opinion, a subjective opinion. Subjective meaning one person thinks
that
it,
held true,
or a group of people think it.
That held true 2,000 years ago. However, now today, it does not hold true.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with subjective and objective. Subjective being the thought of a group of people or one person, or a truth for certain people, and objective being a universal truth that is just obviously true.
Where do you seek truth?
Where?
Yeah. Where do you find truth?
In life? I don't know. That's a cryptic question.
That's not a cryptic. No, it's just where do you find truth?
How is blue?
How is blue?
Where do you find truth? Truth isn't something. It's not like an Easter egg that you find.
Okay, then where do you find true love?
True love?
Sure.
Again, that's love can't be quantified. So it's a subjective term. Objective, if you could say affection of something or somebody maybe, or admiration maybe. I don't know what you would define as love.
So do you even believe in a subjective truth?
Well, yeah, I've talked about it a lot of times. Is that your car?
No, it's not.
Okay. Yeah, there's obviously subjective truths. For like your subjective truth being the godly man has more value subjectively than the non-godly man. That's a subjective truth to you. Objectively, there's no truth to it, but subjectively there is. Whether one's better or not, that's nobody can know. Was it your car?
Probably. I think I just leaned into it and pushed the panic button.
Yeah, we're good on time. Bind me up, Captain. Come on, man. You can get me.
Yeah. Well, I
good.
What else is there?
Do you have any like? Because normally when we talk about this for Cameron, we talk about God all the time.
Yeah.
A lot. We're always debating it, and then the individual aspects like gay people, abortion, and then those individual aspects of stuff. We're both very similar on like the right-leaning stuff politically. I think we're pretty.
Trying to be unbiased, sure.
You're not going to be unbiased. It's not going to happen ever. But just in a political sense, we align pretty much politically, I would say, or just in
objective truths, we align pretty much most everything on objective truths, right?
What do you mean on objective truths?
Like
on what an objective truth is, or
like male and female.
Yeah, so basically like using
truth,
evidence
right?
for something, yeah.
Or like, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah, objectively, there are male and female. Subjectively, there's 17 genders. Yeah. One could say, yeah, that's a subjective truth to somebody.
Yeah.
But objectively, that's just not true. Do you understand what subjective and objective are?
Yeah, okay, cool. I get that.
So, yeah, that's my thinking. So where we differ in life is the God thing.
Well, you still believe that you don't know.
Exactly. Nobody can know.
There's God. Has there ever been a time in your life where you're like, this is a miracle?
No. A miracle, no.
What's the closest thing to a miracle that you've ever seen?
A kid being born was pretty cool. That was kind of life-changing.
When was that?
I had, when I was younger, I lived with two people, and they had a kid, and I was there in the hospital when I wasn't in the actual room, but I was in the hospital 10 minutes after I come out. I held it. I cried. That was a very like life-changing moment. Like when you, and it wasn't even my kid.
Yeah.
It's like, it's such a moving thing to see a newborn. That's very.
A brand new baby.
Brand new. That's like a brand new car. But I think that's across humanity. There's nothing special about that. I think that's human nature. That's our purpose on.
You don't see childbirth as a miracle?
No. What define a miracle?
Something that is.
A miracle is the suspension of natural law.
We can't even begin to understand it.
Yeah, but we understand childbirth. A miracle is a suspension of natural law.
Not
basically.
Quite.
That's the definition of a miracle. The suspension or...
Well, you got DNA tattooed on your arm, but you know it goes deeper than that, right?
What do you mean? I have a rosary there, too.
Yeah.
But the miracle is literally just a suspension of natural law. If natural law exists, there can be no miracles. Or sorry, if natural law solely exists, there could be miracles. I don't know. I've never witnessed one or seen one proven.
Yeah.
But the miracle is literally just a suspension, like Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. That's natural law stopped all that. For him to raise somebody from the dead, that doesn't happen. Once you're dead, you're dead. And according to natural law.
Yeah.
Science says when your heart stops beating, your brain dead, you're dead. So to raise that person from the dead, natural law has to stop, and that law has been broken now by this miracle. So it's been suspended by this miracle. So a miracle is a suspension of natural law.
Okay, so do you believe that anybody is above that?
Above natural law?
Sure.
No.
Do you believe that anybody can be?
Yeah.
Do you believe that I can be?
Sure. Could. Are you?
Well,
I don't believe you are. You could.
What would have to happen for me to be able to?
Suspension of natural law.
Yeah, but what would have to happen?
Like you wake up and eat fairy dust? I don't know what you're meaning. What are you saying?
What I'm saying is that for me to be above natural law, what would have to happen? What I'm trying to get you to say is that there would have to be a creator, that there would have to be somebody that is...
Oh, in the grand sense, yeah. There would have to be some type of supernatural. You would call it supernatural, yeah. There has to be a supernatural aspect to the world, if that's true.
Yeah.
Supernatural being above natural law.
Yeah.
Or outside of natural law.
Okay.
So like ghosts. Do you believe in ghosts?
What do you mean by ghosts?
Ghosts, like spirits. You ever wake up and hear creaks in the cabinets and think there's ghosts and poltergeists?
No.
Okay.
In that sense, do I think there's angels? Yes.
Okay.
Do you believe in demons?
No.
No.
Why would I believe?
Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
Do you believe in angels?
No.
So anything that what you were saying out there in the garage,
yeah, like about
you
perception.
Can't see.
It's not seeing. There's things that you can't see that are still real. I can't see wind. I can hear wind. I can feel wind.
Yeah.
I can wet my finger and it can dry out because of the effects of wind. So we know wind exists.
Yeah.
But you can't see it.
Yeah.
You can see the effects of it. Ultraviolet light. You can't see ultraviolet light. With tools, you can.
Yeah.
You can perceive it.
So what
you can
makes
see the effects of it.
What makes wind different than
God?
Not necessarily God, but
supernatural.
Not necessarily supernatural, but sure, all of those in one.
Well, God is. There's no sense for God. There's none of our five senses. Well, there's 9 senses total, but the 5 main senses, none of those can perceive a God.
See, I can't. What I don't understand is how you can, at the same time, believe that there may be a God, and then also believe that there may not be a God.
I'm leaning towards there's no God, but there could be a God.
Yeah.
I can't know. The thing is, as a person, you don't know. Nobody knows. You don't know if there's a God. I don't know if there's a God. That's an objective truth.
Sure.
Nobody knows.
That's why
by
we
the definition of knowing,
believe.
Nobody knows. Exactly.
That's why we have faith, like the.
And we've come to this conclusion before that it's a belief, and
yeah.
that's 100% fine. I don't. You're a friend of mine. I don't judge you for your beliefs. Your beliefs are your beliefs.
Not just that.
If you take
but
that,
a top 5 friend.
Yeah. If you take that belief and then stab me in my sleep because I'm not a Christian and I have to be sent to God to be judged or something, and you're crazy. What if that? When the action itself, that's when I have a problem.
I've slept here enough nights to know that I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying that like if you believe in God, you believe in God.
Yeah.
I'm still your friend no matter what. When you take actions that would say, let's say you got in the car, let's go get Pizza Hut. I'm like, okay, and then you drive me to a church. Then I'd be like, okay, I got a problem with this dude. Look, I want Pizza Hut. If you would have said, hey, you want to go to church? Yeah. Sure, cool, let's do it. But if you take an action...
I just honestly thought, like, is tomorrow Sunday?
Is it?
No.
What is today?
It's Monday.
Oh, yeah, so tomorrow's Thursday.
Would you ever consider going to church with me?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you ever read the Bible with me?
Read it with you? I mean,
not like read it with you, but
it's not something I would enjoy. But if you need me to do it, I'll do it for you.
I'm not. I'm just.
Yeah, I don't know if you need it for like self pleasure of like.
Well, I
got Scuba to read the Bible.
Why did you read the Bible in the first place?
Because I want to know if it's true or not. I mean, that's the easiest way to become an atheist is to just read the Bible. It's literally the easiest way. It should send you directly to it.
It's the easiest way to become a Christian.
Sure.
Just read the Bible.
And that's just our subjective truths.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. We both have a subjective truth on that. There's no objective truth of it.
Yeah. I guess my thing is I think where we differ is that it's not that I want to I want you to believe in God. It's that. How's our time?
We got 25 minutes. Let's just reset them, and we'll start back with. I think our difference between us is
okay.
So scripted. This conversation is a sham. Reset. Reset?
Reset. Yep.
Cool. Timer started.
What did I say?
You said I think the difference between me and you is.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought.
So start a different train. You just cut it off where we cut off and wherever you want to go.
Yeah. The difference between us.
Also, I think the difference between us is you have a belief that I just don't have. That's literally it. Now,
because you do have beliefs, don't you?
Everybody has, yes. I have beliefs. I have a belief that this is good drink.
Well, that's an opinion, but
it's a belief. I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I believe this is oak. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I think it's cherry wood.
Sure.
I'm kidding. I don't know.
I could be wrong. I don't know. But there's a what I base my thoughts on, I guess, are being skeptical of everything. So even if
where you go when you are lonely, where you go whenever you are fearful in the worst times of your life.
Where will I go?
Like that's where I think that maybe we differ, is that when I feel like I am thinking bad thoughts, I go to God. When you start thinking about things, then you go, I don't know where. To
watch my TV or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You ever thought of robbing a bank?
Robbing a bank?
Yeah.
I've thought of a lot of stuff. I mean, you ever play Grand Theft Auto? It makes you think about a lot of stuff.
Sure.
You ever thought about suicide? You ever thought about killing yourself?
There we go. Now we're really in the meat and potatoes.
Right.
This is your testimony, not mine.
Right. No, hey, this is back and forth, bud.
Right.
So have you ever thought about suicide? You ever thought about actually killing yourself? Like, hey, what would happen if I... Because, so there's two ways of thinking of suicide, I think. There's like the
fantasy me answer of like, or not?
I just want to clarify what I'm talking about. So like there's the fantasy like, oh dude, so many hot girls would come to my funeral, that'd be so cool. And then there's the actual thought of, dude, I gotta get off this planet, I gotta go buy a loaded gun and off myself.
Yeah.
So there's two different avenues of the suicide
Have you been to that point?
I've been to the first one. I've never been about to end it. No, I've never done that. No. But you contemplate like, what would happen if I died? Wouldn't it be, you fantasize about all the people that would miss you and everything.
Yeah.
But it's like a self.
I think that's everybody who thinks that, like that.
Everybody's had that thought. I almost guarantee that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the second one, that's the other step. That's like dangerous.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that second step?
Have I?
Yeah.
I think everybody has.
I don't think I have. I've never seriously wanted to kill myself.
Yeah.
I've thought about like what would happen if I did.
Sure.
But I've never had like okay, where am I going to get a gun? Where am I going to get a bunch of pills? You know, I've never had that thought.
Yeah.
I've never had that one. I mean, right now I'm thinking of it, I guess, in a weird sense, but yeah.
Huh.
So do you think suicide, so if somebody commits suicide, do they go to heaven?
This is your testimony, not mine.
Just having a conversation. Okay, ask me a question.
I want to know more about you. I want to know.
What do you want to know? You want to know about my worldview?
I don't know what that. You know, I do know some things about you, but I don't know if you want to talk about them on camera or like what you want to talk about, like what you want to go into.
Okay,
we're about 2-3 hours deep into it. And
no, we're not. We're like an hour and maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah, and maybe one person in the next 2 years will hear this.
Yeah, I mean, people will hear it, I'm sure. Do you want my worldview, like what I think of like life and how I base stuff?
I know all of that. Like, I want to know like your.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
What's my worldview? Tell me how I perceive things in daily life.
Well, everything is objective. Nothing is subjective.
False.
Like
We just had this talk.
Yeah,
there are subjective things.
Okay.
This drink is good. I like it. That's subjective.
I'm thinking about having one of those drinks.
Go grab one. Will you grab me one too?
Is this going to be like a 6-hour long?
It's your video, bud.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's my testimony, your video. You let me know what you think. Do you want one of these?
The problem is that like
What's it? 7:30.
I can't drink caffeine after 3.
Mom would be pissed.
Mom would be so ticked.
Okay, so let's find a cut point and then let's continue on to something else that you want to talk about.
Okay. Who shaped you?
Who shaped me?
Who shaped you? And you know what I mean whenever I say shaped you.
You know God shaped me out of clay. No, who shaped me? I mean, your parents obviously shape you. I think life experiences shape you more than any one person, though.
Was there anyone outside of your parents that like influenced you, that like gave you some kind of like
guidance?
Yeah, I mean like when
I don't know, honestly. I've never been much of a take life advice from people. You know, like when you're a kid and like the old guys like don't you go digging in that trash can. That's like I'm like shut up, grandpa. I'm going in the trash can. You know, I'm that. So I think life lessons have taught me more than like any one person has.
Yeah.
Yeah. So learning by example and learning from
so like
consequences of stuff.
You give money, right? You give money to people. Like where did you get that from?
YouTube.
No, I mean not the money. I'm talking about like the.
Where do I get the money? Like the urge.
Your morals and ethics.
Oh, okay. So the morality thing. So morality in general is just a tribal thing. It's a tribal subjective thing. So within my subjective moral mindset, I think that giving money to somebody equates to helping them. Yeah. Whereas your moral mindset might be sitting down and having a talk with them and understanding them and really like enriching their life is better than money. I think of it in a literal aspect of, hey, he might be able to pay this electric bill now, you know.
Yeah. Well, like what I'm saying though is like
where do I get that sense from? That sense of morality. Where does morality come from?
No, just experiences in your life where like something
that shaped my morality.
Sure.
I think the culture shapes morality. The land you live in, more than anything else, morality wise.
So like, you would give credit to America for growing up in America,
or Western culture, yeah.
Just giving. Where do you think that's based out of?
Western culture?
Yeah.
The West Hemisphere of the globe.
Probably.
Brief interlude here, guys. Go watch my channel Beardtube on YouTube while Sam gets a bit. Will you get me one?
Yes.
Can I have the unicorn one? Please.
I don't know which one it is.
It's the light blue one.
Got you. I kind of want that one.
There should be more, so grab one.
I don't see any more.
So have it for yourself. Give me a different one. I've had multiple of them.
Is that the best one?
I think it's really good. Yeah, give me champagne. You take the unicorn.
Okay.
So anyway, in this brief interlude, go follow me on YouTube at beardtube.com. I need to get a website. But yeah, so morality. So I think at the root of it, you want to get down to morality at a core, right? You like that?
We do.
I don't know the flavors of it. Make no mistake, bang is not your tissue, blah, 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 blah. There's no like ingredient list of all the different flavors in this. But it is good, right? You like it?
I like it.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite ones. But I like champagne a lot too. Try the champagne before I taste it.
Before you put your cooties on it?
Before you put your cooties on it. Before we make a blood pact with our mouth.
Ooh.
You like it?
I almost like that one better.
That one's more fruity and fresh. Ooh, black and milds.
Yeah.
So. Oh, it's 10 minutes. Okay, so let's get into morality. I know you want to get into it, but you don't want to.
I'm talking about like specific experiences in your life that like shaped you.
Yeah, but
like what is your definition of testimony?
Testimony?
Yeah, how do you define testimony?
The word testimony?
Sure.
A verbal or written expression of oneself, I would assume. A testimony could be in court. You make a court appearance and testify on behalf of somebody, or tell your experience with a certain situation or whatever. Testimony. Yeah. In a biblical sense, it's like this is how I came to God talk. In the sense of Kodak Black, it's a new song that came out that's really good. I would take no apathy. It's the best thing ever. You have a lighter?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. But we should get into the meat and potatoes of morality if you want to really talk about morality. Because deep down inside when you're asking the questions, the root of it is, how can you be moral without a God? Well, how does that happen? And that's why you're asking me about my life experiences, right?
Yeah. Well, when you speak about morality, then you're basically putting a blanket. Yeah. You're like confining the questions to this. When you talk about subjective, you're saying, okay, this. When you're talking about objective, you're talking about this.
Objective is not. The objective is everything. Objective is everything truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to get at is
I'm saying, like in Mexico, to marry a 13-year-old is commonly held like not as a crazy thing to do.
Yeah.
But here in America, it's like, that's fucking weird. But here in America...
Summer 4, I think?
I'll redo it. But here in America...
You're helping me edit this.
But here in America, it's a little bit of a, that's weird. So that's two subjectively moral things that are like, one culture says this, one culture says this, sure. And you kind of get your values from that.
Yeah. Well, it's could you also align this with like when life is life for somebody who believes that life begins when the baby is able to be born outside of the womb. Mm-hmm. In New York City, with the best of the best doctors, it's like 17 months, whereas like somewhere in that's Jordan, then it's something like 30
exactly
months.
See, yeah, you get it.
So
those are just cultural different things, and it shapes a belief. So when everybody in your country says this, it's like, oh, maybe that's how I should believe. That's kind of how it works. Why we think murder is wrong,
Yeah. Whereas there's
murder. Murder is generally bad.
Yeah.
But you just heard about the missionary.
Sure. Yeah.
The guy has nothing but good intentions. He's going there to spread the word of Christ to these people. Hopefully, good intentions.
Yeah.
And he gets killed. These people see no problem with that. There's no morality of like, we shouldn't kill this guy. This is an intruder in our land. We don't know what this is. This is probably a demon. We have to end its life.
So you don't believe in inherently good and inherently evil?
Define inherently. Like a God-based morality? Faith-based morality?
I'm talking like looking at
something. About free will?
Like what I'm saying is that like the 13-year-old deal with down in Mexico versus up here, it's 18.
Yeah, you mean objective morality.
What defines like
an all-encompassing moral code?
Well,
right?
You can talk about law all day long. Does law shape your morals?
Does law shape morals? It could. I don't know.
Well, I know people who.
Well, there were people back in Jim Crow, when Jim Crow laws were around, that thought black people were inferior to white people. Those were laws, and I think that shaped values. Slavery, was that good? Like today, do you think that's good? Slavery, do you think that was a good thing to happen? Morally. Or any sense.
In the defense of the Old Testament, they had Sundays off.
Huh? No, I'm not even taking it to Old Bible. I know that the Exodus and Leviticus, but I'm talking about just in the moral sense of how. I think the culture of that time, slavery was an accepted thing. Now we realize, hey, or in our culture now, it's like that's.
Well, I think in the Old Testament, slavery was different.
I'm not talking about Old Testament. I'm talking about like 60 years ago.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about that was bad. Like, exactly. But then you go into like. But
you go into that time, and it was culturally.
Well, no. What I'm saying is that law, yes, defined morals and ethics and beliefs of individuals, but.
So
what I'm saying is slavery is so much more than just like, you can't just like say slavery. You have to look into it and be like,
okay, black people enslaved by white people in the South to work on plantations for profit.
Yes.
Good or bad? You shouldn't have to think about that one. Bad, right?
Yes, it is bad.
Morally,
yes.
You would never do that.
Yes.
99% of people wouldn't do that.
The thing is, where my mind goes is that, I go,
I'm not trying to trap you into like, oh, but in the Old Testament they said.
Yeah, I get that.
We both know it says it, but.
But I'm just trying. I'm thinking to myself, in that, were there ever, is there such slave that was treated fairly?
It's fairly a subjective truth. We don't know.
Yeah.
And your subjective opinion is what your truth is.
Yes.
Slavery goes on today. There's white slaves in Africa. The Irish slave trade was bigger than the slave trade of African Americans.
Did you watch that Farmlands documentary?
With Lawrence Southern? Yeah, that was pretty crazy to watch. But yeah, slavery is a timeless thing that's been going on forever.
But what I'm saying though is that for you, the laws of your land do not define your morals and ethics.
So like if I was born in the 30s, would I think that slavery was okay?
So like let
Maybe,
me ask you this: is that
like the abortion thing or what?
Is killing ever justified?
Killing, yes. Murder is a whole different thing than killing, though, I think, right?
Yes.
I don't know if you agree or not, but yeah.
Homicide is versus murder.
Homicide is murder. Yeah.
Okay.
So the ending of a life versus homicide.
Yeah.
So in a war where people are killing each other, or a mercy killing, or, this 90-year-old doesn't want to go on with arthritis and they want to die, ending that life, is that morally wrong? I don't know. Doesn't seem like it to me, but I don't know. But that's also shaped on my culture and what we believe.
Yeah.
In a different culture, it could be every single life is precious, and that is the ultimate sin to end somebody's life, no matter what. In different cultures. I think Buddhists are that way. No, Buddhists are very... I think... Because Buddhists are like... the life continues on no matter what. So it's like the ending... The fearing of the death, or like... I don't think it's a big deal for them, actually. So it's like it's just a stepping off point to another life.
Do you fear death?
I fear the actual act of dying, like the gunshot to the stomach that I actually bleed out from. I fear that. But death, I don't fear. The actual being dead, no. Yeah. Nobody should fear that. But the act of, if somebody pulls out a gun, I'm out of there. Well, I fear that. Yeah. Somebody pulls out a knife, I'm out of there. Somebody pulls out a bunch of firecrackers, I might be out of there. I don't know. Self-preservation.
I think we talked about this at one point. Is like, where do you believe that you go when you die?
The ground.
Yeah.
Or cremated. I don't know.
Yeah.
When I die, this will be on video record. When I die, I want a tree planted above me. That would be the best thing.
Why?
So that tree could be like, because when you die, you're basically feeding your nutrients into the ground. So a no coffin thing. They actually make little pods that you can be buried in now that have tree seeds in them, which is really cool.
So I think it's really weird, but in
wouldn't
the
it be cool to have a whole tree like 50 years later in your memory?
No, I think that it's sad to believe that your purpose would be to
that's another
to a tree.
It's another deep one, existential.
Like, where
crisis.
do you find your purpose? Like, what is your purpose?
What's the meaning of life?
In like 1,000,000 years out, Scuba's purpose was to give nutrients, very little nutrients, to a tree.
Well, little in the cosmic sense, yeah.
Isn't that like? Doesn't that depress you a little bit?
Oh yeah. When you have that heavy, how old are you now?
26.
Yeah. So here in about maybe 5 or 10 years, you'll have your existential crisis. You know what that is?
No.
Basically questioning your existence, your existential crisis. You ever read Nietzsche or anything like that?
I've already had that.
No, you haven't.
Sure, I have.
No.
I do it. Yeah, that's.
If you're asking if it's a depressing thought, then I don't think you've had it.
That's what I've. That's why I open up and read.
Okay, so
is that existential thought is like
existential crisis being when you think about the actual purpose of humans on Earth without a God in playing into it at all.
Yeah.
What is the actual purpose of a human being on Earth besides to reproduce and survive? What other purpose is there? Because when you die, it's done. It's literally done, right? And this is assuming there's no God. We don't know. Assuming there's no God.
Yeah.
And the existential kind of, not paradox, but like the crisis of the thinking is there's literally nothing in my life that's actually meaningful, because in the grand scheme of things, this Earth could implode right now. And the universe keeps on ticking like nothing happened. Yeah. We could exist or not exist. It matters nothing to Vanity. The grand in a cosmic sense. Yeah.
Smoke.
Exactly. So my life, everything that I live for, my cars, my money that I make, and everything, it feels good, but in the end, I realize that hey, it's all meaningless.
You're basically describing the story, not the story, but the book of Ecclesiastes.
Somewhat, but. it's not like it's a very so there's a surface level, somewhat deeper than like a surface level of satisfaction in my life that I get from just being me and making money and living how I want to live.
Yeah.
And that's me making the best of what I believe is a crap situation.
Yeah.
So, but in the deep sense, it is very depressing. So I don't really think about it too often. But
why don't you?
Why don't I?
Yeah.
Well, to avoid depression. because if you think in my worldview, there's no end. There's an end, but there's nothing after the end. So when you're done, it's done, and you'll cease to exist, and you'll never have an opinion about it because you'll be gone. There won't be anything you can keep.
So that is a objective truth.
No, that's my subjective.
That's your subjective truth. So we
there could be a God. There could be a heaven.
We've got your one subjective truth here.
There's a lot of subjective truths.
That's like, I'm talking about the one that's.
Yeah. Well, it's a troubling thing for anybody that doesn't believe in a God.
Well, it isn't that a subjective truth that you want to change? Is that
want to change what?
That subjective truth, isn't that like?
Oh, you want to live a bit like a more fulfilling life, basically.
No, not necessarily.
Like have a purpose.
But yeah, to say, like, this subjective truth is depressing. It's sad. It's miserable. It puts me into a I hate myself coma, and
there's got to be deep in it. But it's sad. It's a saddening thought.
Yeah.
Down to the core, it's like,
what
am I doing?
Yeah.
But you keep on pushing and trucking and living life how it pleases you.
Don't you believe that the people who think that thought that there's two roads that you can kind of go with that is one, you can either ignore it and forget it and try to,
I don't know if you can forget it, but you could ignore it. I ignore it. Yeah.
You ignore it, or you can say there's got to be something else,
or you could off yourself,
or you can end it and say, but yeah, I mean that's
like I think Pol Pot and like a lot of the big like Stalin were very existential. I keep using that word like it means that they were very like Pol Pot was atheist, Stalin was an atheist, and to him there's no consequence. I believe, I don't know him, I don't know his mind or anything, but when you look at the grand scheme of things and say, hey, if I blow up an office building today, what does it really matter? Mm-hmm. In the grand scheme of things, what does it really matter? And I think that thought goes through people's mind, and then the thought's okay, but when you act upon that thought and do that, that's when it's...
Desire leads to temptation. Temptation leads to sin. Sin leads to death. Is the...
Every desire?
The desires of flesh.
There's a lot of desires of the flesh. Like physical desires?
Well,
you copying me.
Yeah.
Copy you.
It's the first out of James, I believe. But that's what you're essentially talking, and it's. He also talks about it in. It's watering the seed of evil, right?
Why? So like I am.
So no. What I'm saying is that for somebody to like actually go, like the pipe bomber of Oklahoma, right? He had this thought, this desire, right, and then
acted upon it.
And then it was a temptation.
Fantasize,
and then that temptation turned into a sin, and then it turned into death.
Yeah.
And so.
But you think the sin is the thought, though, right? Is the thought thinking about? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We differ on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we do.
Yeah, we definitely do. Thinking about blowing up an office building is not the same as acting upon that.
Well, in a very literal sense. Do you stop that thought process right there in your mind? You go, this isn't good to think about. I'm going to be done talking or thinking about this. Yeah. So you believe the same thing in that? No. That it starts with the thought.
Do I believe I did something wrong by thinking about it?
Well, you don't water those things. You're.
I take it as it's not realistic. I don't know how to build a bomb for one. I don't feel like doing it. It's just like I think about it in the very like grand scheme of things. Like, what if somebody did? What does it really mean? What does it really matter? Yeah,
but you don't further that. You don't continue to think about that.
So am I bad for thinking? Am I sinning?
No. What I'm saying is that no, I'm not.
Because that's how it all starts, with a thought like that.
Yeah,
like serial killers.
Sure.
I could kill somebody. and then start stalking somebody.
Sure.
But if you're just like having the thought of,
but what I'm saying is
somebody,
what I'm saying though is that you axe that fat.
What?
You axe that fat. You say that's
I axe that what?
You axe that fat. When I say axe the fat, I mean that like you have a steak, right? You believe that your mind is your thought is a steak, and those kind of thoughts are fattening, and that you cut them off.
Yeah.
You don't think
that's just a moral thing though.
But you'd have to do.
In my moral sense, says it's wrong to kill somebody.
Sure, it's not just to kill somebody, but also to think about kill somebody.
No. You never thought about killing somebody? Or not even that, punching somebody. Like you wanted to strangle somebody for being so frustratingly annoying, or like just a horrible person. You're like, I would punch you in the face right now. But I'm not going to. We should restart the time. Put a new one in. You have other ones?
I think I got one more.
Stop these right now. I gotta take a piss real quick. Did you install a new battery, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Rolling on everything?
Yep.
Rolling there.
Where were we?
Just the general thought versus action.
Yeah.
So, if you think about something, so you've never fantasized. I was asking you, you've never fantasized? Sorry, we had to cut the cameras, guys.
I've fantasized by a lot of things, but
So are you wrong for doing that?
Yes, I believe that. Yeah, that wrong versus right doesn't start with the action; it starts with the thought.
So you want to defy your human nature for the rest of your life, otherwise you're sinning. What happens if you have a thought of that on your deathbed, and you die without being absolved of that sin?
I would hope that he's a merciful God.
You would hope?
Yeah.
That's it? That's all you got? And spend eternity in hellfire? Because you thought about punching your nurse because she stuck the IV in wrong as you were dying or something? No?
I don't know.
So the thing is, human nature is human nature. No matter what, you can't fight it. There's human nature. There's an aspect of that for everything.
Yeah.
So everybody in history ever has thought about doing a physical harm to somebody or something.
Yeah.
So when you take that and say, that's bad, there's no need for that. There's literally just a need to say, hey, look, it's bad to actually act on that. So, because I could have these thoughts all day. And what I do is, even in my the sense of like nothing matters, I say, look, I'm not going to let my actions affect somebody else. Usually, I restrain myself from doing stupid things that would affect other people, because they might have a whole different, like I wouldn't, if I wanted to punch you, I wouldn't punch you. I would refrain from that, because, I'm not saying I would ever punch you, but because whether or not my belief is that it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, it still affects you, and I could be wrong.
Yeah.
About everything. There could be a God watching us right now and judging me for this. I don't know. But you can't just try and fight human nature your whole life. You'll just struggle with it. It's just one big struggle. Embrace the thought. You get it. It's a thought. Don't act on it. It's pretty simple. That should be a good moral code, right? I guarantee Mother Teresa's thought about throttling some kid or somebody that was annoying her. The Pope. Anybody. Gandhi.
Jesus,
if he existed, sure.
Do you believe he existed?
Jesus said multiple violent things about cutting people's ear off with the sword, and Jesus sinned. I mean, Jesus was not, if the Bible is correct, Jesus was not perfect by any means, in your sense of a thought as a crime, or a thought as a sin.
Well, do you believe that your life has been perfect?
No.
Yeah.
Do you believe your life has been perfect? Wait, do you believe anybody's life has been perfect?
I believe the order is perfect.
The order of
what things have happened, how things have passed.
Perfect.
Yes.
So the Holocaust?
You're just
Hurricane Katrina? I mean, what was perfect about any of that?
Now we're getting into predestination, how there is a plan.
No. I'm just saying, do you believe in intelligent design or creation, or what's your thoughts on that? Do you believe that God created everything, poof? Or do you believe that God put the motions in order, intelligent design?
Intelligent design.
Okay. So I get what you're saying. In that sense, the order is perfect.
Yes.
Right.
But sure, there are mistakes. Sure, there are.
It can't be perfect if there's mistakes.
See, that's the thing is, can it?
How do you define perfect? In the confines of our English language that we communicate in, perfect. The word perfect means literally there's no mistakes.
Yeah.
So if there's any mistakes, it's not perfect. Now you have
to say that now let me throw it back at you. There is a God. These things happened. Is there a reason for all of these things happening?
Well, I mean, there's a literal reason for things happening, but I mean, are you looking for like a cosmic spiritual reason, like a sin, like people sin and it's punishment for sin type thing?
I guess what I'm saying is that do you believe that there are people put on this earth to just be a warning for others?
What's the purpose of that?
To be a warning to others.
God's knowledge could be higher than ours. I don't know. If there's a God, I don't know. But
do you want to know God?
Do I want to know God?
Yes.
If there was a God, yeah, of course. I don't want to be on the losing side of this. I don't want to be...
Do you seek God?
Do I seek God? No. But again, that's another loaded definition of what it means
it's the same thing. Like, do you seek God. Truth?
Yeah. Again, that's just
real?
A phrase that doesn't really mean much.
Okay, then do you seek real people? Do you seek people who speak with conviction?
Yeah, I don't understand that. Hitler spoke with conviction of how the Jews were poisoned upon the earth. You know.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. I don't want to associate myself with that. Well, even as much as conviction as he had, it's in my mind that's wrong. You can and there's nothing perfect about this world. There can't be. If you personally could think of one thing that you could improve about this world somehow, some way. I know you can. What could you improve right now if you had?
Oh, the hurricane situations. Boom. where what to do, how to do it, everything there.
So you could improve upon God's plan. So what does that make him?
Creator.
No, I mean, in your relationship to him, you would be better than a God.
Not necessarily if he is the one who is working through me.
But if you can think of one thing, just one, let's say, like I think I told you about this last time. We eat in the same hole that's right next to where we breathe out of, so people choke to death. That's an obvious design flaw. We could, if I designed a human being, I could fix that. I could make that better.
Yeah.
How is that if a God created it perfectly? Did God want people to choke to death? It goes back to intelligent design. You think it was intelligently designed perfectly. There's so many things that are imperfect.
Let's go back to...
Yeah, let's get off that one, huh?
Well, where do you get, like, your philosophical beliefs. I guess philosophical kind of envelops the morals and ethics.
My philosophy is I'm a skeptical person.
Yeah.
I don't believe things without evidence.
Yeah.
So if somebody tells me you killed somebody, prove it. You know, I know Sam, and Sam wouldn't do that. Prove it to me. I say I don't know. I don't think Sam would do that. Prove it to me. If you show me proof, camera shot of you killing somebody, okay, well, Sam did it. I don't believe it though until I've been proven it.
Yeah.
So that's my philosophy on life. So if you can prove there's a God, I'm in the boat. I'm in the boat 100%, and I'll be everything I do would be for God. My whole life would be centered around that, because if there's a God, you have this one small iota of a life versus an eternity. Why not invest your life on this earth in a good way, in a godly way, to earn that eternity in heaven?
Yeah.
So I don't want to be wrong about that.
But you don't believe you're wrong about that.
Don't believe so, no.
Then why do you believe that there could be?
Because you don't know anything for certain. There's no even in objective truth, there's no I don't believe in any absolute truth. I don't think. I mean, it's all very confusing, but I can't prove that that's not water, that wall's not water. You can't prove it's not. You can't prove a negative. I can't prove there's no God. I don't know if there's a God. There could be a God.
What kind of proof would you have to believe that there's a God?
Something I can verify with my senses. Or data. You know, something...
A testimony wouldn't change your views?
No, that's anecdotal evidence. Like we talked about earlier. Anecdotal evidence is just, like I can tell you, I had a foursome last night. It could be complete horse crap.
Yeah.
So you saying, I witnessed a miracle, you think you witnessed a miracle, sure, that's fine. But does that mean a miracle happened?
Scuba's interesting, man.
It's not that. It's pretty cut and dry, black and white. Evidence or no evidence. That's my thing. So it's. I don't fault you for believing in miracles. That's not. I mean, I think in essence, it's a coping mechanism, like the belief in God. I think it's a coping. It's like a. If you break your leg, should you walk on crutches? Sure, you have the crutch, yeah. But will you heal faster without it? Probably. I think that the God belief in a God is a crutch, based on. Like you were saying, like when you're down and depressed, what do? You have that crutch to lean on, which is God.
Yeah. I
think that's a weakness in general, like a psychological weakness, but it's not a huge deal.
Yeah. So do you believe that I'm weak?
In that aspect of like the psychological, like need somebody to lean on type thing?
Yeah.
There's a weakness there, but a weak person, you're not, no.
Yeah.
You've persevered through a lot.
Do you believe that you're a weak person?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In some senses, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff that everybody's weak, in some sense of even physically. I could get my butt kicked tomorrow by somebody. Well, I could be humbled.
Not physically, but I mean like spiritually.
Yeah, spiritually. Oh, yeah. There could be a God, and I could be 100% wrong, and I'd be one spiritual devoid person.
Yeah.
Which is not good. That's weak. That's a weakness.
Are you spiritual in any way?
I mean, depends how you define spiritual. I don't really know.
Well, do you?
I'm a very literal.
Do you hold anything higher than yourself?
Like a deity or a.
Like I don't know. Would you step in front of would you step in front of me if there was a bullet coming towards me?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No idea.
Situational.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know. You hear everybody say, "I'd take a bullet for you." Yeah, when the rounds are flying and the gunshots are going off, most people are running.
Well, part of me believes that you would do that. Like,
it's possible.
Like if
I think it's all very situational.
I think that's what like drives me to want to know more about you is that I do see that you are an individual is such a meaningless, voided terminology to define friend. But you are a friend. You are a brother that would stand for me.
Yeah.
That would.
There's a lot of things I would do for you. Taking a bullet, that's a whole. I don't know. In that situation, if I'm like, you know what? If I'm really convicted on my life doesn't matter, nothing really matters, I'll take the bullet. Let's do it. If it's like sit and have a thought about it. But in the situation where stuff like that arises, like that snap, your human instinct is to run, fight or flight.
Yeah.
It's not usually to protect. So, I mean, even Secret Service that are sworn to protect the president, you see the gunshots go off and they flinch before their training kicks in,
Yeah.
And that's just hardwired, just beat into them, that training to protect, of course. That's not a general human.
Where do you think I see, or why do you think I see those things in you?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, you're idealistic.
Do you think that I am, I know you like to use the word gullible. Do you think I'm gullible in believing that you are a protective type? That you are somebody that is not, you say that you are not spiritually strong, but where I see that you are spiritually strong and that you would step in front of a bullet or like step in front of a train.
It's not gullible. It's what you observe about me.
Yeah.
That's your subjective opinion of me, is your what you see and what you experience with me forms your opinion of me. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm a very protective person, of course, like for friends and stuff like that. But in that situation, the gunshots, who knows what's going to happen? I could say, dude, I'll take a bullet for you. And then when it comes down to it, the gunshots go off and I'm pooping my pants and running. I'm pooping my pants and running. Then what is that,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gullible for... When you use your senses, when you evaluate somebody with your senses, your hearing, your sight, your everything, your intuition that you use to evaluate somebody, doesn't make you gullible. That's human. That's what you judge people. That's how you judge somebody.
Yeah. Do you judge people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you? Trick question.
I'm always going to go back to I think everybody judges people.
Good, yeah. We understand that, yeah. That's human nature.
It's not just human nature. It is...
What is it then?
Well, to say that it's human nature is to say that it is...
It's a survival instinct. If I judge you to be a threat, if I'm on the street and there's somebody I judge to be a threat, I'm going to avoid that threat or confront that threat and neutralize it. If I judge somebody to be a good person that is generous and caring, I might ask them for something if I needed something. You judge everything. You judge that drink a minute ago. You judge everything. This your life is based on judgments and decisions. Otherwise, there's no. That's kind of the basis of human interaction, really.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing to judge people. we judge Hitler, right? Hitler did bad stuff. He was probably a bad person.
Yeah. So
we judge him based on his actions and what we've evaluated from what we've been told. We weren't around back then, but I mean, what we've been told and what he did and the evidence for what he did.
Do you believe that you're wise?
That's subjective. I don't know. I believe I know I have like a higher IQ than not like genius IQ.
What is your IQ?
I think it's 135 or 138 or 140 or somewhere around there. I think when I got tested when I was a kid, and it stays the same throughout your life. I think it's like 142 or something maybe.
I think I got like 102.
That's average. That's good.
Cool.
I think it's actually above average.
It is. Average, I think, is 95.
Maybe I was 132, not 142. But it was a 132 or 142. So I was slightly above average on IQ. But that doesn't mean wise, I guess, in that sense. Mm-hmm. I think wisdom comes with experience, probably.
Yeah.
I've experienced some, but when you're 80, that's when you really have the wisdom and you've experienced a lot. Relationships
with women.
That's another good one. I can't do it. I mean, I can. Everybody can, but I think that's fighting human nature. Being like monogamous. Yeah, sure. It's just fighting human nature, I think. Like, your last relationship was no intercourse, let's wait till marriage type of thing, a very godly type thing, right?
We're going to cut the cameras here.
Okay.
I probably won't, but...
So in my view, that's like, it comes down to two things for me as far as like human instinct is survival and reproduction. So the act of sex to me is like it's your human nature kicking in, and you want to do it. Whether priests want to do it, everybody wants to do it. Gandhi wanted to do it. Unless you get castrated and lose that hormone, the testosterone in your body, you want to do it. Well, it's human nature.
Now we got priests up in Pennsylvania that have been. Now there's like children that are being. Yeah.
It's been going on for a long time. You know, the Catholic Church little gym.
Yeah, and is that wrong?
Subjectively, I'd say it's wrong. I'd say objectively, it's wrong too, almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume. But there's some culture out there, I'm sure, somewhere where it's like not frowned upon. I don't know. Mm-hmm. In our culture, and in my view, it's definitely bad.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody, of course, but
where do you find that as a truth? Like, how is that defined to you? That
how I grew up, how I was raised, the culture I'm living in, the media that you watch, everything you watch on TV that tells you it's bad. I mean, how one would come to that conclusion without anything. If the world ended and started over, a whole new set of morals could be crazy, and if we could transport ourselves to that time, we'd be like, what in the frick is going on here? There could be all kinds of crazy things people believe that in our time wouldn't, like slavery. That was what, less than a century ago.
Have you ever been in love with a woman?
Love is just another, affectionate and stuff like that. Yeah, like we're very protective and like
well, you can't see love. You can't
quantify love.
Love is subjective.
It's subjective. It's not nothing you can quantify.
Yeah. It's
an emotion. It's probably an amalgamation of emotions.
Do you believe that I love you?
In your of course. In your subjective, like, yeah.
Not through the eyes of me, but through the eyes of you. Do you believe that I love you?
I would assume so. I would hope. I guess maybe. I don't know. But it all depends on. Everybody has a different tier of what love is. Like a threshold where it's like and then love. What's that threshold for you? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that could be different for everybody.
Yeah.
First, you have to define what love is to you, and then I could apply that and say, okay, yeah, Sam loves me. But love for you could involve French kissing and braiding my hair, and I'd be like, okay, maybe Sam doesn't love me. He's never French kissed me or braided my hair.
Yes, I have.
Okay, but we don't talk about that on camera. So in just general, the only thing we differ on, I think, is the worldview of.
Well, it's just I think that defining terms, like defining love for me is fairly simple for me.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you define love?
Believe that love is not. Oh, there it is.
Did it die?
No, it just stopped.
How? This is going now?
Yeah.
Okay, so define love.
Love is it is not pleasure. It is I'm
not saying like what it's not.
Well, love.
Like I mean, very specific. I guess I could
go to. I guess I could go to 2 Corinthians and talk about how love is being
love
kind.
Is kind. Love is never
patient.
Yeah.
Being patient.
I think that's just what love is not. I mean, it's love is kind. What does that mean? Love is kind.
Well, it starts out with love is patience. I think that patience is
a virtue. I'm asking you like directly. Not a Bible quote, just you as a person. What do you define the parameters of love? Like, at what point do you love somebody? At what point? How do you feel? Like, define the feelings, I guess, that love is. It's hard to ask the question because I don't think love can be quantified, so it's hard to ask that question.
Yeah. Well, I think that love, in a sense of in an action is telling somebody the truth whenever that truth is going to make them potentially hate you.
That's love.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So like for if I were to like look at you and be like, Jesus loves you, and if you don't believe that, then you're going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's love.
Okay, so like if I tell a meth head he looks like he's a meth head, is that love?
No, I think that if it's
it fits your definition. Telling somebody the truth, even at the risk of offending them.
Sure. Not that he looks like a meth. I think that it's also situational. If it's a meth head on the side of the corner and you don't have any clue who they are, and you go up to him and you tell him, hey, like meth is bad for you, stop doing that, then like I don't think that's love. I think
that's like if I say, what is a car? And you say, cars move. I'm saying, what is a car? A car, to me, has 4 wheels, a motor, and a body that you sit in and drive and direct, and it gets you places.
Yeah.
If you say, cars move. Cars are bad for the environment. That can describe cars. But what is a car? So what is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
No more. It's hard to answer, right? You can't. It's hard to give a literal answer. That's where I fault it.
That's why where do you find what love is?
No idea.
For me, it would be like,
I was just curious. I generally asking you because I don't know. I don't know what like.
Is that not something that you want to know though? Is that something
what love
that
is?
Yeah,
well, I wouldn't ask if I didn't want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it's the diamond inside the coal, and you have to seek coal, and you gotta.
You're rambling in parables here.
I am.
Jesus.
And that's the thing is that you can't define love without parables. You cannot define love without testimonies.
What's the purpose of the word?
You can't define love without stories. You can't define love without
So what does it fulfill? Like in the English language, what does love do? What does it do? Even in a literal sense of. How do you define love? I mean, if I'm asking, like, because there's so many words like I adore you, I admire you, I think you're attractive, I like having sex with you, there's all kinds of things that would say those are just kind of like the precursors to what we encompass as love, as far as love in a male female heterosexual type of way. Can't quantify it. It's an amalgamation of emotions. From what I understand, it's an amalgamation of emotions where people say that instead of 17 other things.
That one went out.
Yeah. Let's wrap it, because this one's battery's low too.
Yeah.
So let's just wrap it here. We'll start them over. We'll wrap it up.
Okay. This one's dead. And I have no idea. It wasn't dead, but it just cut out. Whatever.
Is it going now?
Yeah, it's going.
Okay, so.
But love is.
And why are we even trying to define it? What is that even? What is it? What's the purpose, honestly?
Well, I think that is somewhat the purpose of like life, is to uncover those truths, like.
Well, there's
uncover subjective truths. What is
subjective truth? You don't have to uncover. That's just your opinion. Objective truth. There's no objective truth of love. Pedophiles love young boys. Probably. There's different degrees of love.
I guess we'll end on what is love.
What is love? Deep thoughts. So basically that was... You're welcome for one. So this was a talk between me and Sam. If you're watching this, you might gain some type of insight to life, maybe. What the heck?
Well,
is that camera?
Yeah.
Let's talk to this one.
Yeah.
So that was another episode of
My Testimony.
So that was another episode of My Testimony. We ended it abruptly because the cameras that we're using, the batteries are dying, and we have to do 30-minute record intervals. This video is an hour and a half long, right?
I don't know. What's the time?
At least an hour and a half, 2 hours long. So if you stuck around this far, subscribe to this channel because there's going to be more of these.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam's asking those hard questions that, those deep, hard-hitting questions that not everybody asks. Even Joe Rogan.
It's kind of true. I mean, like it's like what is the purpose of life? Like what is love? What is the end all be all?
The provocative questions.
Reason behind life.
At the end of it all, we're friends. We're gonna remain friends, and I don't want to have my worldview at the end, I guess.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter. I don't know.
It does matter.
How do you think the video ends?
That's the thing is that
it's hard to end the video.
Yeah.
On like a note of like on a conclusion because there's so much unanswered.
With the last one, I think what I'm gonna do is honestly just fade it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it really is. How do you end a conversation like this? You don't, because it continues on and on and on and on. And on.
Yeah, nothing was solved here today, right? It's just literally a not a battle of the minds, but a coming together of minds to discuss different things.
Well, yeah, I believe that I said it to somebody that the mind is like a gem, and that you're always trying to cut it how you cut your gem of a mind is by discussing these things. I've always discussed these things. Mm-hmm. Whenever I was younger, it would be like, I'd drink with friends, and then like it would get to that point. But
let's get philosophical and
sure,
deep.
yeah. But then like once I got older, it's like like that's all that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
You're
on a journey for truth.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. And for me personally,
just as long as you have realistic expectations about it, I think that would be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, even if you don't, it's still okay. It's not like you're harming anybody.
Yeah.
So, this is a good thing. So watch this video in its entirety. Even though if you have, you're here.
I think that's like the beauty of this whole conversation between us two is that.
But do you want? So, should people comment their opinions on this stuff, or do you even want to know?
I don't.
Comment what you think of any of this, and maybe Sam will have a discussion with you.
No, well, with the last video, I actually gave their email, so I will.
I don't want people emailing me.
Could we even like just make? Can you just make one? How about Beardtube, scuba@gmail.com? We'll just make you a Gmail.
What if that's already taken?
Okay.
So just type in. I have an email.
Do you?
Only email if you have something like meaningful to add. Don't try to proselytize to me in the email. Otherwise, I will just block you and never talk to you. Beardtubemail@gmail.com. That's like my channel email. I'll look at it. I can't guarantee I'll answer you back. If I find the question or the topic
what I'll
unrewarding
do is, in the comment section, I'll just put like.
Yeah, you could literally just comment, and I'll read the comments. I'm not gonna. This video will be up forever.
I won't even. I won't. I will. I'll put the.
And maybe we'll have more discussions.
I'll put the email in the description, but if you start getting crazy emails,
we'll take it out. So if the email's in the description, the highway's still open. If it's out, that highway's closed.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Too many people have ruined it. All right, and so you end it, right?
No, we just fade it on out.
We just fade out like the dark and dreary death. A slow. What would be the fade out death? Drowning. That'd be more a pretty quick fade.
If I were to drown, if that's the way I die, I would want to eat a whole bunch of like potato chips before, just so like, you know what I mean.
Screw you, carbs. It doesn't matter. I'm dead.
No, it's more like, man, I could, or like a bunch of popcorn. Just eat a whole bag of popcorn, and like, when I drown, like, at least I'm
full.
Well, no, at least my thirst is quenched.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to think about it. You do the what's the challenge? The cinnamon challenge.
Sure. Yeah.
And then drown. Yeah.
Yeah.
There'd be a bright side and a dark side to it. All right. Well.
But you're gonna help me edit this, right?
Am I gonna help you edit this?
Yeah.
No. This is your video, sir. You have to edit it.
Oh my god.
I provided the camera, one camera, good audio source.
Good thing I brought my big external drive.
Yeah. See?
I was not going to do that, and then I was like, I should probably.
Why do you need there's not much editing to do. It's literally just you sitting there and.
Yeah. Well.
Listening to it.
Yeah.
There's only a few parts. There's a few cuss words. There's like 5 cuss words that I said, right?
Yeah, it would take me an hour and a half. It would probably take me 2 hours.
Yeah, so I wouldn't edit it right now. I mean, to edit when you have 2 hours to kill, that's where you're up and at 'em and alert.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm not sure when the fade out happens.
Yeah, well, it
just happens when it happens. Yeah. Right now, you could not be hearing this right now. We don't know, guys. Look at those shoes.
I know, right?
Those are craziness. There's like no tread on them. Those are like, you've had those for a while, huh?
Probably 10 years.
Yeah, the tread is like telling. There's like it's like flat on some spots. Right at the ball of your foot, it's flat.
Oh, I know.
And on the heel, it's pretty flat too, and it's like coming off.
I know.
All right, guys.
You're trying to end the video, and it's just gonna fade out. I don't know why you're
signing off.
Watch it be like a 10-hour long video.
Yeah.
It's just like 8 hours of us just.
They talked about ending the video 4 hours ago. They started talking about Interstellar or something. Would you live on Mars?
I mean, if I had to.
You wouldn't want to be like, that doesn't hold like a romantic, like a idealistic, like, oh, dude, I could be the first person, one of the first group on Mars. Even though life there would be horrible, I'm sure.
I don't have any opinion on that.
We could see Earth from Mars, or even go to the moon. Would you go to the moon? If you had, let's say you had $1 million in your bank account.
Yeah.
Would you spend 200,000 of it to go to the moon?
Yeah.
Cool.
Why not?
That's all we needed. That's the real root of the whole conversation. Would Sam go to the moon for 1/5 of his net worth? Now we know.
I didn't know that you were. Your dad is in Jordan.
Yeah.
You ever plan on speaking to him?
I've spoken, like, not in person. I've never spoken to him. I'm not going over there.
Yeah.
I burned a Quran on YouTube. They'll murder me. Murder.
They would.
Yeah. You know how many death threats I get a day?
Really?
From the religion of peace, Islam? Oh my gosh. So I put my Snapchat in the video. So every day I'll get a Snapchat, at least once or twice a day. Hey, mother